Today, we're tackling a question that's been puzzling plane enthusiasts and nervous flyers alike. Can planes really fly upside down? Let's dive in and explore the real mechanics behind this intriguing myth. Imagine you're at a roller coaster. When it loops around in that big circle, it feels like everything is turning upside down, right? But even though you feel that way, you're not actually hanging by your feet. It's all about how gravity is perceived differently based on motion and force. And now, let's think about an airplane. Planes can indeed fly in a variety of orientations, but they don't do so literally upside down like a roller coaster does. When we talk about flying upside down, what we're really discussing are extreme aerobatic maneuvers or stunts where the plane is tilted at very high angles. To understand this better, let's look at a simpler example, a toy car on a ramp. If you tilt that ramp steeply enough, the car will start to move sideways against gravity. In a similar way, an airplane can be banked so sharply that it appears to be flying upside down from the passenger perspective. However, pilots use special maneuvers called inverted flight or loops to achieve this effect. During these maneuvers, the plane's wings are generating lift in a direction opposite to what we usually experience during normal flight. It might feel like you're upside down, but the plane is actually still following the same principles of aerodynamics, just with some additional force from the pilot's controls. So, when an airplane performs an inverted flight or loop, it's not actually flying upside down in a way that would make anyone fall out or crash. Instead, pilots are using their skills and aircrafts designed for such maneuvers to perform impressive feats of aviation. And here's the surprising part. Pilots train specifically for these maneuvers to ensure they can handle any situation safely. In fact, performing such stunts is incredibly rare in regular commercial flights because it puts a lot of stress on both the aircraft and the pilot. All right, so let's talk about how airplanes generate that magical lift. You know those giant wings on the plane? Think of them as a super big version of your hand, making waves in water. When you wave your hand through water, it pushes the water down, and the water pushes back up at your hand. It's almost like a little upward force. Now, imagine an airplane wing doing something similar, but much bigger. As the plane moves forward, the air hits the wing, and just like your hand pushing water, the air is pushed downward. And guess what? The air then pushes back up on the wing, creating that wonderful lift we need to stay in the sky. And here's the surprising part. Even though you might think the wing needs to be upside down or somehow flip over to generate lift, it doesn't. The shape and angle of the wing, combined with its speed through the air, make sure the air is always being pushed down. That downward push by the air creates a powerful upward force that keeps us flying high. So remember, every time you see an airplane in flight, think about those wings working like magic, pushing air down to keep the plane safely aloft. And next time you're up there, look at those wings with a new appreciation for their amazing ability to lift us into the sky. Okay, so we've talked about how wings generate lift, but what happens when a plane flips? Well, the wings still make lift, but something funny happens with the airflow. Imagine you're flipping your hand through water in the bathtub. When your palm is facing up, the water pushes it down. But if you flip your hand around, the push changes direction. It's the same thing with a plane. When a plane does a maneuver like an inverted flight loop or a barrel roll, it's essentially flipping its wings so that what was on top is now on bottom. The air still tries to push against the wing, but in a new direction. This means the plane can actually fly upside down without falling out of the sky. It just needs to adjust its angle and speed to make sure everything balances out. Here's the surprising part. Even though it might look like the plane is doing something impossible, it's really just playing with the forces at play. The pilot adjusts the aircraft's pitch and banking angles to keep control. And here's the cool thing. Because of how lift works, the plane can stay in the air just as easily upside down as right side up. And here's the surprising part. Planes can fly upside down, but it takes some special skills and a little something we call aerobatics. Have you ever seen those incredible loops and rolls performed by stunt planes? Well, these maneuvers are just a demonstration of how planes generate lift upside down. Take a look at an Extra 300, one of the most famous aerobatic aircraft. These planes perform breathtaking loops and rolls in air shows all around the world. How do they manage this? The key is understanding something called angle of attack. When you're flying level, the wing's shape ensures that air flows smoothly over both the top and bottom surfaces, creating lift. But when the plane goes upside down or follows a steep arc like during a loop, it needs to maintain enough speed for air to keep moving over the wings in just the right way. The pilot adjusts the angle of attack, how much the wing is tilted relative to the airflow, to keep those all-important airflow patterns intact. Think about it this way. Imagine you're holding a piece of paper horizontally and trying to blow air under it, causing it to lift up. Now, tilt the paper so that more of one side is exposed to the airflow, just like adjusting the angle of attack on an airplane wing. By changing the angle, you can control how much lift the paper generates. In aerobatic planes, the pilots do exactly this, but at extreme angles and with incredible precision. They maintain enough speed to keep air moving over their wings, even when they're upside down or in a vertical loop. The plane's shape is designed to handle these conditions. Here's an example. During a loop, as the extra 300 approaches the top of its arc, it transitions from horizontal flight into an inverted position. The pilot uses the rudder and elevator to control the angle of attack, ensuring that air continues to flow smoothly over the wings. As the plane descends back towards the horizon, lift is generated in the opposite direction, pulling the plane out of the loop. So you see, it's all about keeping air moving over those wings, no matter which way they're pointing. The real magic happens behind the scenes with these amazing maneuvers. All right, so we've talked about some crazy things planes can do, like fly upside down. But now let's talk about something really important: safety. First of all, it is incredibly rare for a commercial airliner to need to flip over and stay that way. In fact, you'd be extremely lucky to ever see one doing this. That's because plane crashes are incredibly uncommon, with the odds of even one being around 1 in 10 million flights. So when planes do something like fly upside down, it's usually part of a deliberate maneuver for training or demonstration purposes. But here's the thing. If an emergency ever did require a pilot to do such a thing, they are incredibly well-trained. Airline pilots go through extensive training to handle all kinds of scenarios. Everything from engine failures to turbulence, and yes, even unusual flight maneuvers. They're prepared with detailed procedures and simulations that help ensure safety first. Now, imagine you're building a really strong toy airplane. You want it to withstand any sort of impact or stress, right? That's exactly how commercial planes are made. They undergo rigorous testing to make sure every part can handle what the real world throws at them. So even if something unusual happened, like say flying upside down, the plane is built with safety in mind from nose to tail. And let's not forget that these pilots don't just take their training lightly. They practice, they simulate, and they review everything countless times. It's like a firefighter going through drills over and over again. The result? You can rest easy knowing that the planes are built to handle pretty much anything you could throw at them. So while flying upside down might sound wild, it's not something we expect or see often. And when it does happen, it's always in the hands of well-prepared professionals who know exactly what they're doing. So, planes can fly upside down, but only under specific conditions and with the right training. Think about it like this. When you're playing a video game, your character has to follow certain rules to survive and thrive. Planes are no different. They need precise control inputs from pilots trained in aerobatics to perform such maneuvers safely. But here's the thing. Most commercial flights don't require this kind of upside-down flying at all. Your typical flight is more like cruising along a highway in your car, going straight and fast, but not doing any wild spins or loops. And that's perfectly fine because it ensures safety for everyone on board. And let me reassure you, flying is incredibly safe. Incredibly. Rare disasters happen, but the statistics show that commercial aviation has an incredible track record. For example, over 35 billion passenger flights have been safely completed since 1946. That's more than one flight every second of every day. If you're curious about aviation or want to learn more, please subscribe. Follow along as we explore the wonderful world of flying and uncover even more fascinating secrets behind the scenes. Stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of flight.